Alright, alright, alright. Oh, I don't think I turned off my mic. I think you might have heard me breathing in the background over the nice little intro thing that I've made. It's a lot of fun. I kind of like it. I might mess around with it a little bit more. I got all sorts of stuff down here on my feet all the time. Let me get that mic a little closer so things sound nice and clear. I hope all of you folks are having a lovely day. I'm Pat. This is Pat Paints. Thanks for coming by. Really appreciate it. For anybody who stops by, you never know. It can be anybody. Yesterday it was one of my former students, and we had somebody from Brazil, and we had a friend from France. We have all sorts of friends that like to come by and watch us paint and shoot the bull or whatever have you. So that's kind of what we do around here. If you found us somehow after the fact and you're enjoying this video, thanks so much for coming by. Really appreciate that. Hit that like and subscribe button. We definitely need all the help we can get with that. I'm trying to get up to the 200 subscriber mark, so that's cool. All right, well, grab yourself something to drink and chill out, and we'll get some stuff painted. So usually these go for about an hour. I usually put on some music, or I have been recently. But anyway, so we paint music. We paint and we kind of hang out and we kind of chit chat. I think I've said that several times now. We're gonna get started. We've been working on this screamer killer here. Let me see if I can get it in. Oh, hello, Miss Octavia. What are you doing, Miss Ma'am? Hi. Hello. Hello. Do you need some attention? Okay. Okay. Okay, kitty. Okay. Hi. Can you say hello to the nice people? Probably not. Octavia is a very much, she only likes me and Kristen. And she only likes, like, that was it. That's all she wanted. Now she's back to patrolling. So she's the huntress. She likes to do the hunting things where she does the chasing down of the stuff. This bothers me, but I don't know how we're gonna fix that. Maybe I'll build like a collar or something that goes on there so that that light isn't shining right on the viewpoints here. Maybe twist this camera a little bit more that way. Yeah, that's a little better, right? Yeah. Do it that way, and then that way you're not seeing so much of that light. Maybe I don't know. I'll figure something out. Anyway, we got our washes on yesterday. I went ahead and after I did the dark brown, which is it's umber, raw umber. We came back with a burnt sienna, and now we're gonna go through and we're gonna take care of a few other things as we blend this all together. So now what we did on the other one is on these is we've been making this kind of fade it down into the color of the yellow, but then the top of this is full yellow and then this fades back and forth. So we're probably going to keep up with that, and then we've got Naples yellow going in on these hard points here, and then we'll do a little bit of fade on all of this stuff. So it should look really, really cool by the time it's all said and done. Better get my paper towel. Oh, all my lights are off. That's weird. I probably turned them off and hadn't realized they weren't on. I usually turn them on before now. But since I'm upside down. little bumpy start this morning. I was busy chatting with my lovely wife. We're not, you know, the government isn't involved, but if anybody asks, that's definitely my wife. She takes very great care of me. Her name is Kristen, and I thank her so much, and I adore her. That's enough with the love bombing. She always gets weird if I love bomb her too much. But she's my biggest fan, so I like to give her a little bit of shout outs when I can. Okay. What am I doing? Alright. I don't want to start with the head. I keep thinking I want to start with the head, but I think we're going to come back and do the head later. So I think we're going to start with the we'll start with these pads and we'll move out from there. So in order to do this, we're just going to grab a little magenta, and this one's going to be a little bit less of a fade than our ones on our Psychophage. So a little bit of magenta, then we're going to fade it into this burnt sienna. I got a little bit too much water on my brush. We're just going to kind of pull that down. We're going to get a little bit of our Naples yellow, and then we'll start blending. Now what I did there is I pulled a little bit off my brush because I intend to use that Naples yellow here in just a second, because I'm going to fade. See how I faded down to it? But I also want to kind of leave that dark spot to just get a barely little bit of this Naples yellow in there. And I want to be careful about it, so I don't want to have too much paint when I hit some of those areas. Too much paint will it'll take away all the work we did to put in all that wash. So we want to be very cautious with how much of it we're using and where we're using it and how we're using it, because it will come through the paint we're using right now. The wash will, but only if we keep our layers thin enough and we don't hop over things too much in the wrong places. Like I said, if you watch us do the Psychophage, you've already seen this technique before, so we're just doing that same technique again. I definitely want to make sure that this edge of this part of the shell is super well defined. It's going to be the most yellow part of it, is down here. But I don't want to lose the valleys that the shadow is casting for having the difference in movement. We need that to catch the eye. So we want to kind of do it in layers, little bits at a time, little bits at a time. Little layers, little layers, little layers. And we're going to repeat it. So we're just going to grab a little bit of that magenta. Just put like a little bit of a line of magenta here. We'll take our burnt sienna and we're going to kind of start pulling that through. Staying in frame pretty good. I'm really trying to learn how to make sure I'm staying in the frame for you guys to see it. That's been my main focus on what to learn, is that staying in the frame. Because I feel like once we can do that, then everything's going to look a lot better. And actually starting maybe tomorrow's stream, things might be looking better. I think we're getting better internet. I'm hoping we're getting better internet. We're paying to hopefully get better internet. So we're changing companies. And we're gonna see. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully everything works out really well. All right. really think I want to have more of the Sienna coming through on this one than I did on the tips of that one. I had more of the magenta. I felt like the purple felt a little bit more like what it needed. But this one, that one needed that magenta, that purpley red. This one needs a little bit more of that bony. He's a little bit more of a tank kind of thing. Big, hardened, armored kind of bug. Like I said, screamer killers are what they call carnifexes, which are like just big beefy boys in the Tyranid armory. They come in a bunch of different styles. Screamer killers, this one is one style of that you will see. And rumor has it that all the Tyranids are the same Tyranids. They just get remade by the hive mind. So like that, the lictor is always the lictor, and that the screamer killer, one screamer killer is really just a copy of all the screamer killers that have ever existed, which is kind of a fun idea. Kind of gets that, hits a little bit of that Frank Herbert kind of deal where it's, multiple minds and multiple lifetimes set inside your head, where you have this otherworldly knowledge of everyone that came before you, and yeah, which is cool. That's really cool. Of course, I'm a huge Frank Herbert fan, so I'm gonna find that cool. Nothing I can do about that. Alright, so this next one, we want it to be pretty much yellow all the way through it. We are going to make sure we let the washes kind of do their thing, because there's some distinction here we want to capture. And we may end up having to do a little bit of blending with a little bit of the Sienna to capture that properly. Especially because of that strange primer accident we had. If you're not familiar with the primer accident, it's interesting. I keep forgetting to turn that silly thing off. I swear to God I'm going to do it. My refrigerator kicks on, it annoys the heck out of me every time we're on film. It doesn't bother me at all. Like when I'm in here by myself and I'm painting, like I don't even notice that it's on. But like as soon as I get to paint with you guys and it turns on and I'm like, ugh, I get so angry. Over a silly thing. It's a silly thing to be angry about. Seems like mildly unprofessional or something. But we're getting better at that. I think everything's getting a little better. Today was a little bit of a bumpier start, but I don't mind that one. It was worth it. That's what I kind of like about this, you know. It's 1 o'clock is the start time, but give them a few minutes straggling or whatever. As long as it's not too bad, it should be alright. As long as I can get it to where it's at least, you know, rolling the film at the right time, it'd be fine. Rolling that starter film. Yeah, so we could just do a little bit of a blend there, just to kind of make sure it gives us what we want it to. And you can see that wash kind of bleeds right through, like I said. This is what we're looking for it to do. That way, the places that were the deeper valleys, when they dry out and they hit the they're as they dry out, they don't have quite as much of the they'll show the pigment underneath as they dry out, so you'll get that definition, because on the tops of it dried out a different way when you put more paint on it. It's like as we add more paint to these edges, they'll get more and more and more yellow, and then the stuff on the underneath, it'll still hold some of the original wash work, and then some of it you really just want to bridge completely over and leave it. Just kind of all depends. It works better when the primer doesn't get all crazy. But that's alright. I like the fact that we work with the mistakes. That's the best part. I think about what I want to do with the way this channel is going to go, and it being all raw. This is how you do these things. I think that's going to be fun. And hopefully helpful. Hopefully people find it helpful, as well as, mildly entertaining. And of course, it's YouTube, so we're here for entertainment. We want to be entertaining. I find the good volume for that music. I'm still working on adding that to the whole situation. Maybe I need to get into one of those licensing things like Art.io or something. It has the musics. I don't know. We start making some money, we'll look into those sort of things. Got to get to the one step first, and then 2-step. Oh, and speaking of 1-step, we're going to go ahead and remind everybody right here. Well, hello, Mr. Butt. Come on. You want to come say hello too? Come on. Yes. Yeah, Mr. Butt. Hi. This is the super friendly one. Hello. Y'all are just all over the place in here today, huh? My studio cats, they hang out with me. They're a lot of fun. Ain't no butt. What are you doing? No, you want your back scratched. You say hi to everybody. You say hi to everybody. He's super lovey. He's also like super smooth. This cat has like some of the smoothest hair ever. He's kind of fun to pet. You're like, oh my god, your hair is so silky smooth. It's so soft. Dapper Dan. I don't want no pomade. I'm a Dapper Dan man. Okay. I have to get to work. I loved you like all morning. I did. I promise. You were here. I did. I tried to love you up so that I could do this. I did. Wasn't enough? I need to get to work. Hey. I need to get to work though. But I need to get to work. But. I gotta put you down now. They're fun. They're good animals. It's nice to have them around. So just trying to work through here slowly. Don't get in too much of a rush. You see how it kind of just, if you'll just, whoop, if you'll just barely move it along the edge, you can pull it out really well. Oh, thank goodness. It's off. I was just thinking about old Saturday Night Live. If you ever watched old Saturday Night Live, Chevy Chase, when he would do Weekend Update, and I kind of feel like Chevy Chase today from Weekend Update. Chevy Chase, like whenever he would get on and do it, he would always almost always they had him talking on a phone, and usually he was talking to oh, hey, Vintage Speedworks, nice to have you, thank you so much. So anyway, he was always talking on the phone. He was always talking to a girl. It's to be insinuating it's his girlfriend, and that's kind of how I feel today. I was a little bit caught onto I was just barely getting on camera on time because I was a little bit busy talking to my girlfriend. Which is good times. I kind of like me. If I'm gonna get compared to somebody that a good bit, that's a good bit. That's fun. Although Chevy Chase is kind of a butthead as a person, from what I understand. Please don't sue me, Chevy Chase. I don't actually know you. I just, you know your reputation is, man. It ain't good. It ain't good. That's funny. Alright, so same thing down here. We're going to really focus on these top parts. Yes. Bring that up. Connect those areas. And we're just kind of trying to work the top stuff, and then we'll work the down. We'll work it all the way down again. But the very tip tops of everything are going to get the most of the yellow. And that's going to help our washes down there do their job. And this stuff here on the underneath is one of those where we can kind of let it stay a little darker than the top. We're going to make the top a little brighter, just because, you know, where our light sources probably are and such. Still looking good in the camera. Starting to dip his claws in the paint, though. That's funny. He's got a pink claw. Raw. think it's lavender, purple. Anywho, still funny. Phone has been blowing up all morning. We're just barely tipping it right there. We're just trying to get a little bit on these edges. I don't want to get down in the valley of that too much yet. We will later. But we want to let that first round of paint kind of dry on top. So when we put the next round on, it goes over the top of that. And we're just layer it in as we're going. And that way, like I said, the wash will work with us a lot more. Really, I really like having the music on there. It really helps. It helps me too. Like I said, it makes it to where I feel like I cannot, like if I don't talk for a few seconds, it's okay. You've got something else to listen to besides my droning voice. Heck yeah, that's gonna look sick. Alright. While we're here, I want to do just a little experimentation here. We're gonna make just a really loose paint. Ooh, that was not the experiment I wanted to do at all. Okay. We kind of got to do this technique on the Psychophage, but his joints weren't quite as big as this one. So I want to kind of get these valleys almost like this is a little bit of a wash or an ink. Yeah, and then we're going to come back with this magenta here in a second. This side can be a little bit darker, so we can go ahead and just fully kind of wash this side, but I just want to draw the outlines on the top. Really give us some separation of color. And again, don't forget to rotate that model. You are in charge. You get to tell the model where to go. You get to tell it what to do. It's not like we're trying to suspend one of these things in real life where it's a plastic model. I can move it. And I'm way out of frame. There we go. Trying to get to where I could see it in the right light. There we go. Yes. come back with another round of this magenta. And we're just going to paint the whole thing all over again. Put this last layer on, and then it should be good. Make it look a little bit more defined, a little bit more, I don't know if evil is the word, but it definitely looks darker, more grimy, grimy, goopy. Yeah. Yes, I like that. It's gonna look great. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue with our magenta. We're gonna go ahead and get these edges going. And we'll move down there. We don't want to paint both edges at the same time because we've got enough to worry about going underneath it and trying to blend two things completely into each other. So again, we want to definitely start heading more. We're heading towards that flesh or the Naples yellow as fast as possible. So we're right already almost straight into the burnt sienna. We might bring a little bit more of that red to kind of pull through, that magenta to pull through. But we want to be into the burnt sienna and heading towards the Naples by the time we pass that third piece. We do want to have this distinction though, so we don't want to get too crazy. All right, yeah. Alright, second thing. I'm gonna go ahead and just line this guy up. Really want to grab that bottom of those valleys and darken them out. It's going to help make this really pop when we put the magenta back on it, because it'll give it that definition, which is what we're trying to do. Again, I don't want to do a full wash up here on the top. We're going to do a full wash of it on the bottom, but not here on the top. On the top, I want to have a little bit more control of what I'm doing. I want to pick and choose where I'm going with my color. Yeah, it is pretty liquidy. It's pretty washy, so it's going to kind of move like a wash. But it's not quite as thin as my normal washes. My normal washes, you know, you pick up a little bit on the paintbrush and it's going everywhere, regardless of what you want. This is more like a thicker version of that. Extraordinarily thinned down paint, if you will. All right. And like I said, the bottom, we're just going to go ahead and give it more of the full wash treatment because we want it to shadow. Create the shadow for us. We want it needs to be darker on the bottom. So we want this whole thing to darken up just a touch down here. So that works out. That will work out for us. And when we come down here, we'll get the rest of this stuff figured out. Paint up, we'll be on. We'll have one arm kind of done up. It's great. Back with our magenta. I'm just going to paint over everything we already just did. Kind of coming back to filling the area between the shadows and the highlights. We might even come back on this guy with a little bit of a dry brush later, but we'll have to wait and see how it comes together when it's all dried. It may not need a dry brush. It may just need a little bit of some highlighting. Not necessarily like an edge highlighting, but just a little bit more highlight color. Okay. Still doing the same thing. Bringing magenta into burnt sienna, into Naples yellow. Blend that sucker down. More of the yellow. Yep. I like this. Looking good. Magenta into Sienna into Naples. Rinse, wash, repeat. And it gives us a nice hard armor piece with a little bit of a less hard armor piece here, but it definitely, you can definitely tell that it's another piece, but not quite the same piece is what we want it to do. And we're just kind of fading those into those points. Because it's also gonna, we also kind of want it to come out from the edge. So now we got to bring that in properly. Probably needs a little bit more Sienna to it. There we go. Oh, I dumped his head right in that lavender. Look at that. If you get to these things quick enough, you can fix them. But you gotta get to it quick. Right on that too. Hopefully I can get that one off, because that one looks like it's drying. Oh, goodness sakes. That'll make you crazy. I got that one pretty easy. I'll just come back and do a little touch up on that other piece. That's the danger of working right over the top of your palette like this. Is that it kind of does that. Occasionally you just make a mistake. And it's 100% on my fault, you know. Can't be mad at anybody but myself. Drop that thing right in there. It's one of the things about, like, I don't know, getting mad about something you did. I sometimes watch, because I'm trying to learn YouTube, right? So I watch a bunch of these other videos that YouTubers do, and I watch a bunch of people there where they talk about what people do on YouTube, which is even weirder. Like, but it's a thing. There are people whose like whole job it is, I guess, is to talk about what goes on YouTube. Which, I mean, great. Find the audience for that. I think that's cool. I find it highly creative. Honestly, I think it's really like that's a pretty niche thing that can only be brought about by a change in the business models. You know, that the need for that has come in the community, and it's so interesting, especially for a guy who grew up, you know, when, oh heck, we all started computer up and you got a command prompt from DOS, you know, and you had to know how to tell the computer exactly what to do. Like I remember when we got the first mouses and people were freaking out. People who hated mouse. They hated having a mouse. They couldn't even understand why you would want a mouse. It was like, because this makes this a whole lot easier to navigate. You know, it's so crazy to see the technology change. And to see the different kinds of things that we have to make as a society in order for us to rationalize and understand something is super interesting. You know, just like the idea of having a commentary guy, you know, somebody who literally all they do is do commentary on YouTube beef. Which, I mean, I didn't even know there was such a thing as YouTube beef until I started doing this. But man, there is YouTube beef, and it's wild. I totally don't want to get in any beef with anybody. It's not what I'm here to do. I did enough of that when I was out and being a regular human. Now that I'm a wizard sitting in my tower speaking to you all through my crystal ball, I don't care for all that skullduggery. Gosh, I'm such a goofball. If you came here for anything but a nerdy show, you really definitely came to the wrong place. Well, after all, we are painting Warhammer miniatures. You can't get much more nerdy than this. It is definitely ready for murder. Vintage Speedworks, it is definitely ready for murder. It eats these guys. Or, actually, these things eat anything. They're like locusts. The whole army is like a locust hive that comes down on your planet and just starts eating everything in creation. which is pretty terrifying. Alright, let's see. Let's get this pretty wet. So I got really, really wet Naples yellow, and now I'm going to go ahead and fill in these cracks. Because that's going to, when that dries, because it's so thin, it should really let the rest of that stuff come through without obscuring those details too much. And if it does, we'll just come back with a wash. Again, and redo it. But I don't think we'll have to. I think it's going to look great. Oh, down here needs a little bit of this extra work before we do the bottoms. And like I said, that's one of the reasons I like having the thicker paint. I start off with a thicker paint so I have more control. I can manipulate it more. I can change its textures to suit my needs. Because I really don't know what I'm going to need it to do at any given minute. Sometimes I need it thinner, sometimes I need it thicker. It just kind of depends. Alright. Looking good, looking good. I can hear that goofy cat in the other room tearing up something. Heck yeah. Okay. So now we'll flip them over. And we'll start to work on this side. And the same thing applies here. We just want to kind of get the magenta on here started on the tops. Let that wash down there, do the rest of that job. Because we want it to look a little darker than the top. Yep, get a little bit of, keep working that red in where it's supposed to be. And then I think we have to move down to the next arm. That's going pretty quick. Well, I mean, it feels pretty quick to me, but it took like an hour almost. We're almost done for the day. Wild. So time flies when you're holding cats. That was supposed to be red right there. It's okay. We definitely still got time to fix that. Should have painted it before I glued this thing together. I love my children. It's definitely worth playing with them, but man, these claws would be easier to do if this was detached. But they're glue. I had to glue them into place because they broke them. Anyway, well, okay. To be fair, I don't know if it's them or the cats. The cats are definitely responsible for 95% of all the damage to miniatures that happen in this house. Cats and miniatures are definitely like I'm just asking for it. kind of situation. I'm asking for broken miniatures by having all these cats. And I only have 2. And I'm still talking about all these cats. They should be getting in it. They should be getting in all of it. Okay, just gently cover that. We don't want to put too much paint on that recess. We want it to stay pretty dark. Whew. Okay, let's do these vents while we're here. Or whatever these things are. I don't know, they look like little vents, so I keep calling them vents. I need to find out what they are. I need to look up in the Tyranid Codex and find out what they really are. I've almost got all the Termagants ready for a washing too, which is awesome. We can get all these little units kind of done up while we're doing these big units, then we'll have this army done in no time. Well, I say that, but yeah. Looking really, really good. Okay. Oh yeah, it's all coming together. Can't wait to put this guy on the big spin. He's gonna look great. Alright. Remember to let places dry. So go work on other spots and come back. We definitely don't want to overwork our wash, but we also want to cover up that place where it dried on us wrong. So we don't want to get too much of it on top of that wash too soon, because we need some of that to stand through. Now this is one of those things where we're using yellow's natural affinity for kind of being transparent. We're using it to our advantage, which is good. But you definitely need to be mindful of like where you are on the piece and what you're doing, because this can be, you can mess this up real quick. You can accidentally put too much paint somewhere, and then it looks off, and then it'll look off. It won't look right. And the only way to fix it is kind of like rewash it and redo the whole dang thing. It's a giant pain in the ass. This way we're getting that definition, and it's hard to see on the camera the definition that's underneath it from the washes, but it's there when you see it in person. It looks more realistic. I think I could probably stand for a little bit more touch-ups, but I didn't need a whole lot. Right around the edges of these little vents with just a little bit of burnt sienna. We'll finish this up and then we'll come back tomorrow. So just a little touch around the edges. Because we want to bring that out on down here too. So we did our washes are really helping us, but we don't want to. If we feel like you need to put a little bit more color in there, do so. Or if you don't even want it to go all the way as far as I did, and you wanted to leave more of the wash effect, you want it to look dirtier, you want it to look grimier, do that. The fun part about painting all these models is that it's however you want it to look, because it's your army, guys. It's yours. You always wanted an army. You did. That's why you have one now. You wanted to rule that world. You sang the song. Everybody wants to rule the world. You sang it. You loved it. You lived it. Now you want an army and you want to paint it. Well, paint it how you want. There's so many people I see on the internet, especially Reddit. Ugh. Tell you, oh, you're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. Or Facebook. Facebook actually may be worse than Reddit about telling you you're doing it wrong. Man, they sure do like to do it. They like to tell you you're doing it wrong. And it's like, oh, let's see your stuff. No? Oh, okay. There's that little bit of social media beef. I threw that one down for real. Yeah, I kind of like that a little bit more of a fade. Yeah, yep. All right. That looks great. One good looking arm. One good looking arm. We can do like an arm an episode. That'll be fun. Or maybe we'll just go ahead and warp speed this out of here. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, that's about our hour. We did get some interruptions with the cats and stuff. So, and I was still trying to kind of decide what I wanted to do with the arm. So now that we have an idea, it should be a little bit faster tomorrow when we come back and work on it some more. I have noticed that these the 1 hour episodes seem to do better as long as they're like 1 hour, hour and a half. They do better afterwards. So I think I'm gonna try keep them smaller and just keep doing them. That seems to be a lot more. What people want to do. There we go. That way it's not my face. Like that. So and if you got opinions or stuff like that, that's fine. Just type them up. Let me know if you like the shorter show, or if you want longer shows, or maybe you want longer weekend bonus shows, or I don't know. That's the fun part about this channel, is we kind of get to decide what to do together. You and me and all of our friends that join us here on Pieces Pat Paints. I am Pat. These are the pieces that we paint. They're all over there. And man, I got them everywhere. I got a whole cabinet in the other room. Anyway, thanks for coming by and seeing us. Hope we earned a like or subscribes. If you'd like to help us out, we definitely are looking to get more subscribers. I want to try to get up to 200 subs, hopefully by Valentine's Day. So that'll be fun. Anyway, I think that's all I've got for now, and we will see you guys in the next one. And I hope you have a great day. See you later.